Kenny, let's talk Whitworth women's basketball. The Pirates opened the season with a win over Walla Walla University. Kind of an interesting game, a tale of two halves. Take us back through that game, and what did you like coming out of that?
I like the way that we stuck together through the game, kind of working backwards. Obviously, only holding on to that win by 6 after being up by 18 in the first half, with a half that I wasn't entirely super thrilled with, just because of I felt a lot of unforced turnovers and travels and things like that could have allowed us to even perform better and have a better showing. And then obviously I have to give credit to Walla Walla just coming out. They weren't a super deep team, but that allows some semblance of freedom for a team to just go out there and kind of play and really find their way into the game. So I was happy with the way our team responded to somewhat of the adversity and being able to hold on to that lead, but a lot of good stuff to grow from at this point in the season.
So how do you take those lessons, what you see on film, and apply it and learn from it and use it in a game?
It's really just kind of addressing some of those issues that happen in the game in a practice environment. I think for the most part, that kind of exposed some of the issues that we had maybe in some of the scrimmages at a smaller dose to this point. But I'd say that going forward, it's just like now we've encountered some of these adversities. Now how do we respond to them? Having people having been in those situations before now have some scar tissue built up of knowing what to do going forward, rather than just saying the sky is falling and how do we respond. Now we can respond to those adverse situations and just have better responses.
So you got to open at home. You won't play another home game until the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go 7 games in a row on the road. How do you prepare a team mentally for going 6 weeks without playing at home again?
I think we'll honestly have a kind of nice break after the first conference weekend trip over to the west side of the state, just because obviously we're Kirkland this weekend, and then down in Santa Cruz, and then back over on the west side. So I really think just kind of breaking it up and looking at those 3 weekends is really just kind of practice for the conference slate until we get to our conference schedule. So I think that's really the good preparation that we have. Normally I'd say, like when I was with the men's side, we'd use these kind of non-conference trips as preparations for going across the country for a NCAA tournament trip. And I think just for my group right now, just looking at that as how do we prepare as far as the night before a game? How do we prepare and shoot around? So just taking those situations on the road, I think, is a big key for us. Having a really together and tight group off the floor is something that I'm not concerned about at all, the road trip part, but it's now understanding that it is a business trip that we're trying to get 2 wins out of all these trips.
You mentioned the first one coming up over on the west side in Kirkland. What do we know about Northwest University and Haskell?
They're programs that have already played, by the time we have played them, about 5 or 6 contests, so they'll have been a little more seasoned, and they're obviously under returning coaches and things that they're really familiar with their programs. Northwest has had all of their games all their regular season games at home already, so they're really kind of settled in. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm glad that we get to have that game first, just because usually playing that team at home, you'd rather be kind of early on while you're more prepared after having kind of a game in between. But they're a solid program. They've played some of our in-conference opponents, so it's going to really be a good gauge for us to see where we stand going into our conference season as well.